Good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, September 6th, hump day. Yes, if you watch below, you can see the video of me messing with my daughter once again on hump day. Cassidy gets mad at me because I don't turn off the video camera until she says hump day instead of Wednesday. So today's topic with the recovery of Hurricane Harvey going on in Texas and western Louisiana, and then the threat of Hurricane Irma coming up, I thought it'd be a good time to talk about flood insurance for a little bit. And it's kind of, flood insurance is a little bit wacky to me. First of all, I have never understood, I personally would never buy a house that's in a floodplain. I learned my lesson during Hurricane Fran in 1996. My wife and I owned a townhouse in Raleigh, and there was literally one corner of the townhouse that was in the floodplain, and we had to pay flood insurance. And I was kind of surprised at that time at how inexpensive flood insurance was, and the attorney made us do it. Of course, I didn't want to, I argued about it, but turned out it was a good thing because during Hurricane Fran, we did get a little bit of flooding, and with the FEMA flood insurance, it helped us out a little bit. The interesting piece, though, is that flood insurance for those that live in flood zones is relatively inexpensive. It's kind of surprising that that people are willing to buy homes that are clearly in the 100-year and 500-year floodplains. I would recommend that you never buy a house in that situation. I realize that some people are going to be okay with that. But if you buy a house in a floodplain and it floods, you're going to have to deal with FEMA. And we all know, as much as FEMA was designed to try to do something, good morning, Chris, how are you? As much as FEMA was designed to help, there are people that are very suspicious of it. It's that old, I'm from the government and I'm here to help things. So we're looking at this information, and we're looking at what happened during Katrina with FEMA and the response. It's just very difficult for the government entity to take care of that. A lot of these things are done by communities coming together. The other catch with floodplain is, let's suppose you don't live in a floodplain, but just in case you wanted to get insurance, you can't get it. That makes no sense to me. Makes no sense. Insurance, and if you look at our health insurance and things like that, car insurance, it's based on people that are not as big of risk being a part of the insured pool, so that their money is helping to pay for other people that are bigger risk. That's why if you have, that's why life insurance for me, I have a hard time getting life insurance at a reasonable rate because of lupus and Crohn's disease and the family history of heart trouble, things like that. And I was a smoker for 27 years. So those kinds of things, that's the way that things, the way that things work with the insurance. So you've got to have people that are healthy that are dealing with it. So we've got to look at that. The other thing is that FEMA is going to be under the gun over the next few weeks. Darlene, thanks for your question. I'll get to that in just a minute. Darlene's question is a good one. Is it the same for business or rental property? I'll get to that in just a minute. FEMA's going to have a tough time because they're going to be under the gun. They already are under the gun in Texas and Louisiana with their response down in Houston. And so far you haven't heard about these hard FEMA stories other than hotels not taking FEMA vouchers. That's kind of a big deal. If people can't have a place to live, where do they go? And lots of people end up with friends and family as a result of that. We're going to see that again now that the track is beginning to turn. I told a couple of friends last week that I thought Hurricane Irma would turn north and cut Florida in half, basically beginning at the Keys and go up diagonally towards Jacksonville. And it appears that that's what it is starting to turn to do. I guess that class at Oklahoma on meteorology and storm chasing is finally coming in handy. But if you look at it, this thing's 900 miles wide. We are going to get rain. We're going to get rain. We're going to get a lot of water, and we don't know where exactly it's going yet. So let's put it this way: Jacksonville, Florida, is 540 miles door to door in from Raleigh, North Carolina. That means if the eye of the hurricane is near Jacksonville, that we here in Raleigh, North Carolina are going to be not on the exterior bands, but on some of the interior bands, the way that it's set up. Now, it'll begin to break up as it gets over land, so that's a big piece to look at. Anyway, so to kind of recap on the flood insurance thing, relatively inexpensive to purchase, so people don't seem to mind moving into flood-prone areas. Again, I think this is a mistake. Those that don't live in floodplains cannot, or in flood plain areas cannot get flood insurance, and it depends on people being at lower risk to be part of the pool in order to balance out. Now, to answer Darlene's question, she was asking about is the flood insurance different with commercial property or rental property. If you are, let's start with this. If you are a tenant in a property, you can only get coverage on your personal items. And that's something that probably one of our insurance folks can comment on. I see that there are a couple of them watching on the video here. But when you're looking at renter's insurance, it's typically covering the contents and personal belongings. So a tenant's probably not going to be able to get renter's insurance. Now, the landlord would probably have flood insurance, and to be honest with you, Darlene, I don't know how that would be covered. Now, if a commercial building is in a flood zone, then I would assume that there would be flood insurance on that commercial building also. Again, relatively inexpensive to get, so I would assume that they would be required to have it, especially if there is a mortgage on it. Now, if there is not a mortgage on it, if there's not a loan and a lien holder, it's possible that a property owner could have just said, you know what, I'm not going to mess with flood insurance. That would be a possibility. Not a smart move, but certainly something that people can do. Sorry, there's a message popping up. My calendar's notifying me something. But if somebody's got a mortgage on their property, and they're living in a floodplain, whether it's a commercial property, residential, whatever, they're going to be required to have that flood insurance. So great question, Darlene. Thanks for asking that. So folks, bottom line is this. I don't want to cause panic. I don't want people to think that I'm freaking out. I was broadcasting for WKZQ in Myrtle Beach after Hurricane Hugo. And I remember the destruction down there. Dad was part of the Hurricane Hugo Relief Task Force that did such a great job getting Myrtle Beach back up and running so that they were running before the next summer season. So I've seen what these hurricanes can do. If you're at the coast, get away, get away, get away. You don't play with things like this. If you try to take on Mother Nature one-on-one, guess who's going to win? It's kind of like somebody, a pedestrian walking across the street and daring someone to hit them. You're just asking for it. So get inland. If possible, get with family. Of course, there is always the possibility of hotels and things like that. If you wait and delay to leave, you're going to run into traffic issues, and you're going to run into the lack of hotel rooms and spaces to go. Remember that your shelters are probably going to be something that you want to use as a last resort, only if you have to. So if you got the means and you got friends and family that live, I'd be willing to get as far away as Asheville if you can, just to make sure. But I'm a little concerned about this one hitting us. So, yeah, Chris, if you're supposed to go to Sunset Beach this weekend, you'll probably be okay. It'll probably be a little rainy. The forecast has it hitting Florida in sometime this weekend. And again, if you look at the travel distance to Miami, we're right about 900 miles from Miami, if I remember correctly, here in Raleigh. So we're going to start feeling effects here probably as soon as maybe Saturday or Sunday. If it comes northward like I expect it to, we'll probably begin to feel effects of it sometime Monday and Tuesday. They'll be significant. So it'll be interesting to watch. Please be safe. Bottled water, non-perishable foods. By the way, don't forget about your pets in this. If you got pets, make sure you take care of them. That's always a big deal to me, those of you that know that I'm a dog guy. So anyway, little bit of a different topic today, needless to say, with real estate. Still lots of activity going on. We've seen the inventory drop below 8,000 again this week, so we expect to see that. Let's see, Belinda Davis. Go Braves. Would love to go with you, but don't be surprised if you get rained out. Atlanta's a little bit closer to Florida. I think you'll be okay for probably a Friday night game, 3-game series, but might see some rain coming on Saturday. And let me know how that new stadium is. I love that. I want to go down there. That's on my bucket list. So anyway, hope you guys have a great day. Be safe out there, and of course, as always, if you need assistance in selling your home or purchasing a home or investing in real estate, I'm always available to help you out. So have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.